How are you? All right, I'm going to bring up chapter 6 of A Course in Miracles. Hey, Rosie. Rosie, it's nice to see you. How are you, and how have you been? Find my shoes. They should be like right where I left them, right? And yet they never are. Life's a mystery, guys. Hey, Sissy. Grandest risings to you. Hey, Ryan. You started making videos. What kind of videos are you making there, Ryan? So I woke up this morning thinking about altars. Altars. Course Course in Miracles has a bit to say. Did you just meow at me, Rosie? I'm getting meowed by on all sides. My cat's meowing me over here. Rosie's meowing to me over there. Ellie, I'm glad you're staying home. I hope you start feeling better today. I'm gonna bring up my live on the big screen. Guys, no guest this afternoon. I do have a guest this evening. Our friend Martin Patet, who has been here once before, and we're going to talk mainly meditation and A Course in Miracles. And Ellie, everyone's meowing at me, man. Hey, Parajat, how are you? Do you guys know what you might be saying to my cat? Do you know what my cat might be saying to you? Basically, my cat is saying, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. Happy Friday to you, Parajat. Did I miss anyone coming in? Oh, Ryan. Did I say Ryan? Ryan. I apologize. I got your name wrong. It's early for me, guys. Hey, Skits. Good morning to you. Good morning, Kat. Skits, thank you for that. Skits says, good morning, everyone. Just to let you know, you're all such beautiful examples. Stay that way. As are you, Skits. You know what? Sometimes we don't think of ourselves as an example because we're judging ourselves. All the things that we believe that we've done wrong. And yet, at any moment, you can drop all of that. You've never actually done anything wrong because you only have this present moment. That's the nature of what, not to get religious on you. Just because I use a religious term doesn't mean we're getting religious. Hey, Goldie. Vamps is here. Goldie is going to be up Saturday for the final installment of Walking with Goldie. Elliott's saying meow, 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 that I'm lucky to have. You know what? I am lucky to have him. Her, sorry. Hey, Liza. Love people sharing good news with me. Did I say Saturday? I apologize. Hey, Laura. Laura, how are you? Hey, Rosie, thank you. Got 100 jewels from Rosie. Thanks for the shout out, Liza. So, anyway, chapter 6 deals with what we were talking about with skits. Kat wants to know why she is hearing my voice and it's not being directed at her. So I'm going to start with chapter 6, the section 1, paragraph 6. Just consider this, guys. Hey, yep. As I have said before, as you teach, so shall you learn. This is what I mean, skits about examples. And you are a perfect example. You are a beautiful example. If you act as if you were persecuted, you are teaching persecution. This is not a lesson a son of God should want to teach, if he is to realize his own salvation. Rather, teach your own perfect immunity, which is a truth in you, and realize that you cannot be assailed. You cannot be assaulted, you cannot be assailed, you cannot be persecuted. But you can be perceived that way. You can perceive yourself that way. You can perceive that there is someone who is doing this to you. And as you perceive, based upon your projection, so it is. You can change that though. Here it says, do not try to protect it yourself, or you are believing that it is assailable. Or you're believing that you are assailable. So if someone is seemingly assailing you, attacking you, persecuting you, don't believe it. Don't try to protect yourself from it. See through it to who they truly are. I know the first thing is I got to defend myself. I got to defend myself. If I don't, people's going to think all kinds of things anyway. You are not in control of what people think. You are in control, however, what you begin to think. And your life will be shaped upon what you're thinking now. If you ever read the Dhammapada, some say the original Buddhist text, the twin verses. Get my shoes on, guys. Shoe number 1. Not tied, but on. The twin verses deal with that considerably. Let's divert for a second from the Course in Miracles to the Dhammapada. It's a Buddhist text. Twin verses. This is actual words from the Buddha. Everything else is probably a discourse given by other people, not from the Buddha himself, but people believe the Dhammapada is straight from the Buddha, the original teachings, and it's the same with the Sermon on the Mount, the Beatitudes. People think those are the only actual words spoken by Jesus. Everything else is and Jesus said, and Jesus said, and Jesus said. Matthew says, Jesus said. John says, Jesus said. Anyway, our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Suffering follows an evil thought as the wheels of a cart follows an oxen that draws it. Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Joy follows a pure thought, like a shadow that never leaves. He was angry with me. He attacked me. He defeated me. He robbed me. Those who dwell on such thoughts will never be free from hatred. He was angry with me. He attacked me. He defeated me. He robbed me. Those who do not dwell on such thoughts will surely become free from hatred. For hatred can never put an end to hatred. Love alone can. This is an unalterable law. People forget that their lives will end soon. For those who remember, quarrels come to an end. Words of the Buddha. It could be taken straight out of A Course in Miracles. Or any word in the Course in Miracles could have been spoken by the Buddha himself. So, back to chapter 6. Do not try to protect yourself from being seemingly assailed or assaulted, or you believing that you are assailable. You are not asked to be crucified, which was part of my own teaching contribution. You are merely asked to follow my example in the face of much less extreme temptations to misperceive and not to accept them as true, as false justification for anger. There can be no justification for the unjustifiable. Do not believe that it is. Do not believe there is, and do not teach that there is. Remember that always you believe what you teach. Believe with me, these are the words of Jesus, and we will become equal teachers. Your resurrection is your awakening. Jesus is a model for rebirth, but rebirth itself is merely the dawning of our own minds to what already is. God placed it in there himself, and it is true forever. We are to help each other teach it. Teach it to your brothers in the kingdom of God, but first believe there it is true within you, or you will miss it. Almost done. The crucifixion cannot be shared because it is a symbol of projection. But the resurrection is a symbol of sharing because the reawakening of every son of God is necessary to enable the sonship to know its wholeness. Only this is knowledge. The message of the crucifixion is perfectly clear. Teach only love, for that is what you are. If you interpret the crucifixion in any other way, you are using it as a weapon for assault rather than the call for peace to which it was intended. All right, we'll lay that aside for now. Don't get lost in the language, in the God, the kingdom, Jesus. My friend, our friend, you guys met him up here about 2 weeks ago, Kenneth. He wrote this morning about complexity. He called it Captain Complexity. We want to make everything complex. Everything. We want these deep, deep practices of Buddhism. We want the special breaths of yoga. We want meditation techniques. We want the deep metaphysics of A Course in Miracles. And we get lost and we don't practice. The practice is everything. The practice of Buddhism makes you Buddha. The practice of Christianity awakens the Christ mind within you. Practice of A Course in Miracles, the practice of forgiveness, leads to the resurrection of not just yourself, but of everyone. And when that happens, we wake up from the dream, or at the very least, we start creating a happier dream. I'm going to read what I wrote in just a minute, but let's dive back in after I forcibly put my shoe on. Hey, Praveen. Bye, Ellie. Thanks for coming in. I'm glad that you're going to be recovering at home today. Hey, Mr. Drakewood. Greetings from Stockholm City, Sweden. I believe you might be our first friend from Stockholm, my friend. Thank you. Thank you, Skits. Hey, Kayo. What do you do for hurt creaky elbows, brother? Joint mobility. When elbows start to creak, it's because there's been a reduction of the synovial fluid, which is like the motor oil that courses through our joint system. So anything that works through a full range of motion, I do elbow circles. Elbows straight to the side. Don't know if you can see. Circle. Try 20 of those every morning. See how it works. Hey, Dolly. Hi, Flora. Much love and happy American holidays, my friend. Thank you, Mr. Drakewood. Your top just needs a Star Trek swoosh logo, and you're taking over the Captain Kirk and the bridge. Kat says, can I find her message? I certainly can. I am in search of Kat. Yogi, Rosie has been having a sour tummy early morning and evenings. She eats one meal at 3 to 4 p.m. and always has. Could her body be asking her to change a bit? I would say yes. I would also address, what are you eating, Rosie? So you eat one meal at 3 or 4. And that's your last meal for the day? Rosie says, love you, Skits. We all love Skits. We all love Rosie. All right. Shoes are on. Thank you, Dolly, for the love. Hey, boss says, am I an MM fighter? I am not an MMA fighter. I remember when that first started, though. And back then, the first few, probably the first 10, it really was mixed martial arts. Now it's its own thing. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's better or worse. But, you know, back in the day, it was Taekwondo versus karate versus judo versus Brazilian jiu-jitsu versus Greco-Roman wrestling. And you really could start to see the limits, the capabilities and the limits of each martial art. I was practicing Kempo karate back then, and we watched Hoist Gracie take everyone down and immediately submit them, sometimes in minutes. And I thought, man, there's something lacking here. I gotta up my ground game. I had wrestled a long time ago, uh, but there was no submissions, right? It did take a little bit of Aikido, which had wrist locks, a little bit of traditional Jiu-Jitsu, which had elbow locks. Uh, there was no Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu schools around at the time. Not yet, but it was getting close. So I went to the judo mat. Started practicing judo. I love judo. It's tough, though. And I did compete in judo. And I did compete in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu match. First one in the Baltimore area. Thank you, Rosie. Baltimore, in the D.C. Metro area. All right, I'm going to read what I wrote this morning. That says, Hoist Gracie. He was a man for a long time, but supposedly his brother, I don't remember his brother's name, was even better. Awesome. Hey, Abigail. The Packers won. Well, good for the Packers. How did Jacksonville do? Dolly says, Gracie and crew had an epic entrance, too. They did. They did. What was Hoist Gracie's oldest brother? Who was considered like the best of the best of the best. Sissy says, a bunch of my cousins do MMA all their lives and even had a fight night at the bar they opened decades ago. All the way up until the oldest Wadsworth retired. Then they sold the bar. Hey, don't know. Smash the like button. I appreciate that. I haven't even smashed it yet. So, Rosie, what's your last meal? What does your last meal consist of? And do you have anything afterwards? And how far between your last meal and when you go to bed? Hey, Anna. Anna, how are you? Hey, Enviromed. I had the first 10 UFC videos. Yep, I remember watching all of them. It was a big thing for us. A bunch of my martial art friends re-rented it on pay-per-view. Like if I won, I can eat 2 bowls of cereal and it makes me full for the day. So, well, what kind of cereal are you eating? Are you eating a lot of sugar? What if you, Rosie, so what if you eat more than one meal? What if you have a couple smaller meals? Here's what I found. I used to eat 1 meal a day, and I was burning a ton of calories. I was ultra running, I was still lifting, and I was fasting about 22, anywhere from 18 to 22 hours, usually about 22. And I was trying to get a lot of calories in a short period of time, and it was causing my digestive system great distress. It's great to go to those periods of fasting, right? But if we're fasting too long, then we get in too many calories, we try to force too many calories in at once, or we're super hungry, and our body is using so much energy to digest that it pulls all its resources for that job at hand. Digestion is a tricky thing. It requires an enormous amount of energy. So we got to be easier on our digestive system. Branches says, this is where Star Trek lives. This is where Star Trek lives. It is. Welcome to the holodeck. As you know, the holodeck projected the illusion that someone was actually there. Metaphor. Keep that in mind, guys. Hey. All right, let me get to what I wrote. But then we can put this stuff aside. Anyway, I love that part of the course. Teach only love, for that is what you are. And that does lead into what I was writing. Hey, Jamie. What foods do you suggest to fuel your jogs running for a non-vegan like myself? Vegan or non-vegan, the foods should be the same as far as fueling for a run. If it's like relatively soon before you run, you want simple carbohydrates. Um, Still complex, but you don't want a ton of fiber, uh, and you'll figure out why soon enough. Uh, so, but you want something light. So some fruit. Fruit speeds through the digestive system at a pretty quick rate. So you get energy, you get those carbs that you need, fuel the brain, fuel the body. You go out and run. Now for recovery, if you're not a vegan, that's when you want some type of, you want to replenish the carbs that you burn. So you want more carbohydrates, but you also want protein. So that's when you would have some kind of recovery meal. It could be a protein shake. It could be, a meal of whatever meat that you prefer, along with some complex carbohydrates. How's your running going? That's not. Rosie says, I try to eat, but I can't because I get full. Well, that could be the issue if you're trying to eat too much. Eat towards, the Eastern, China, Korea, Japan, they eat until about their 70%, 80% full, and then they stop. So if you're trying to force too many calories, you're going to have digestive issues. That's what happened with me. Hey, Joshua, do I want you to donate? Nah, you're okay, my friend. Just hang out and have some fun with us. Dali says, I loved MMA in the, where did that go? In the early years. Oh, yeah, I loved Ken Shamrock. He was one of the more complete back in those days. He had a background in submission wrestling, pancreation, right? That's what it was called, pancreation. Pancreas, which is an organ, so it wasn't that. Dolly says, peace and blessings to you all. Peace and blessings to you, Dolly. And speaking of blessings, it's always a blessing when Dolly comes in to hang out with us. Asad says, thanks, Yogi. And yes, running going great. Just trying to be more consistent. Are you doing any kind of lifting too, Asad? You definitely want to lift. You want to be a strong runner. You don't have to be, strong as in like lifting wise, if that's not your goal. But to be a strong runner should definitely be a goal. A strong runner is a resilient runner, meaning you'll be largely injury free. Excuse me, guys. As that says, oops, I read that. Hey, Fred. Fred, thanks for coming in. Fred goes right to work as he always does. You're a good man, Fred. Sissy says, all of you are a blessing. Thank you, Sissy. As are you. Hey, this is what I wrote this morning. It's called Inner Altar. This is all we have to do. This is how we remove complexity from our spiritual path, from our practices. Upon my inner altar, carefully, all my beliefs are gently laid aside, and only love adorns. This is my place of devotion now, pure, free of the past, nothing projected into the future. It's where I consciously, continuously return to meet my prayerful needs. There is an altar within you too, our meeting place, light-filled, and my role is to greet you there in worship of our purest nature. Today, may we find ourselves here, our inner altar, together in this worship. That's it. Cultivate your inner altar. Look for it. It is light-filled. It is beautifully adorned. It's who you truly are. This is the meeting place of your truest self. This is where you find the Christ mind waiting for you. This is where you find Buddha consciousness waiting for you. This is where you can extend love from here. Generally what we do, We have the altar of the ego. From the altar of the ego, we project, and we are projecting all of our fears. We're projecting all of our guilt, all of our resentment, all of our grievances. We show up every single day in worship to the ego at this altar. However, it doesn't truly exist. It's an illusion. We keep entering illusion's doors, and we project outwards. We can just as easily, with training, and every good spiritual practice is simply mind training. Now we go to the real altar, the altar of the soul, the altar of the spirit, the altar of who we truly are. And we meet there, we find ourselves there, we cultivate ourselves there, and we extend love from there. My job is to realize you, more than likely, if you're coming in somewhere, if you're meeting somebody and they are in any way being angry, in any way being resentful, in any way doing anything that we find ourselves reacting to, two things are at play. They are at their own altar of the ego, projecting all of that outwards upon to us, and we are receiving it at our ego's altar. And we're taking it in, and we're getting angry, we're getting reactive, we want to respond in a very forceful manner. Two things we have to do. It's really only one. Return to our own inner altar, our true altar, the altar of love. And from there we look outwards. When we're looking outwards, all we can see is that own person's inner altar, their place of spirit, their light-filled place of worship. And we meet them there. We know that it's there because it's within us. This is what it means by do not perceive sin, which simply means error, in another. Because if you do, you'll recognize it within yourself. You're making it real. Look past it to that inner altar that is pure spirit. Meet them there and see what happens. We think, well, they're not going to change. They're not supposed to. You are. Because now you're returning back to spirit. It's never about someone else. It's always about you going back to your altar and meeting the world in that place. This is what Rumi said. You're probably saying, so what did Rumi say? And I'm going to tell you what Rumi said. Are you ready? Very short. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, out beyond the ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. That's what Rumi meant. That's our inner altar. That's where I will meet you. And I hope you will meet me there too. I hope we can help each other find that inner altar. The inner altar of our goodness. The inner altar of pure, unconditional love. And that's where we practice forgiveness. Forgiveness says, I see that you are worshiping upon the altar of the ego, but I only wish to find you where you truly, truly are, so that I can find myself where I truly, truly am, and can we meet there together? All right. I do know what you mean, sissy. It all comes down to only us, only us. Hey, Daniel. Hey, John. Hi, Sarah. Anna says, I will meet you there. Yep. Remember what Ramana Maharshi said. If you ever are like, so what did Ramana Maharshi say? Just ask Kat. Kat, what did Ramana Maharshi say? Hey, KT. Skit says, what if people don't meet us there? They're not supposed to. We just wait for them. I've noticed something people don't want to meet as they're attached to the ego. Absolutely. You're 100%. Our job isn't to make any demands on anyone, but to do what we do. It's never about someone else. The more often we return to our altar, unconditional love, spirit, excuse me, guys, the more we find others are naturally drawn to find their own place. If we're always putting the onus on someone else, well, I did my part. I looked for you. Now you got to do your part. We'll always be disappointed. Sometimes people are so lost in that altar of the ego, which is fine. People are where people are. Our job isn't to pull anyone else forcibly. Our job is to cultivate our own. The more we forgive, remember, forgiveness isn't saying, I forgive you for what you've done. On the level of the body, there are certainly a whole bunch of unforgivable things, right? But what we're asked to do is not to live simply and only at the level of the body. We're to live at the level of spirit, at the level of love, at the level of Buddha, at the level of Christ. That's where we forgive. So when we do that, whatever we do springs from that place of love. So even if we put up boundaries, even if we walk away from someone or a relationship, we do it with a clear and loving heart, knowing that they've never really been cast out, because who can be cast out of the heart? We can only have boundaries of the body. Spirit itself doesn't have boundaries. So it's okay to have those boundaries. Just know they don't really exist. It's okay to walk away from a relationship. Just know we can never truly walk away from who we truly are. And who we truly are is an extension of that other person. As Sissy was saying, there are no others. Let's see. KT says, I haven't folded my clean laundry in 4 days. I haven't folded my clean laundry in probably 46, 47 years. I'm a sort of anti-folding. I live my life by an anti-folding philosophy. Here's what I fold. I fold burritos and enchiladas. I fold soft taco shells. Never fold a pancake, because that would be a crepe. Let's not mistake our pancakes for crepes, guys. This is a very valuable lesson. I'm glad we brought this up. Some people say crepes are thin pancakes. Crepes are not thin pancakes, they're crepes. Pancakes are pancakes, and a thin pancake is a thin pancake. How you eat your pancake is of no concern of mine. Nor should it be. Sissy says, this may come as a surprise. Nothing comes as a surprise to me from you, Sissy. This may come as a surprise to some, but our message is synced again, in part, Yogi. Awesome. Thank you for dropping your link. I got it up. I'll be over to see you after my walk. Hey, Paveen. Good learning for all of us, young generation. You youngsters. You scalawags. What are you doing on my lawn, by the way? If I had a rake, I would chase all of you guys off. If I had a garden hose and a rake, you guys would be in trouble gathering on my yard. Thank you. As I like to say, I grew it myself. I wonder if I only have, like, continuous hairs. In order for me to grow a beard, I had to draw every hair from the top of my head down through my face and out through my chin. Can I reverse the process now? If I want to get rid of my beard, can I just move the hair from here and Qigong and Taoism, the inner channel, the central channel, I would have to channel it back up and out through the head. I think I can do that. And imagine the head of hair if it took all the hair from the legs and just channeled it all the way up. On the arms, Cat accused me of having hairy arms. Yeah, I have the perfect amount of hair. Hairy implies you have too much hair, right? Anyway, I think it's a possibility. And I'm working on it. Stay tuned. If I show up, you guys would be like, man, he had a hair transplant. No. I just channeled my hair up through the middle channel, middle pillar, and out on top. Sissy says she hangs everything except socks and undergarments. Okay, now I do hang a few things. I hang 10, I hang 5. I leave people hanging. I hang up. I hang out. Gotcha. Say, Anna, how you doing? Hey, Sebastian. Sebastian, how are you? Sebastian, have you hit 11K yet? Never surprised synchronicities and Sissy. Hey, Lady Sky. Goldie's laughing. Always a good day when I have Goldie laugh. Hey, Adam. Adam, how are you? Sissy says, epic one-liners, Yogi. Every so often it happens. I'm pretty good, Lady Sky. Making a few changes in my workouts. Going to be going a little bit lighter. Going back to the weight, if I were competing, this is the weight that I would use in competition in my age group. Actually, it's still one heavier than I would. But I have a bit of tendonitis in my left elbow, bicep, forearm insertion point. So I'm going to try to let that heal. Used to be able to work through everything and come out the other side feeling better. But that is my one concession that I'm making to being a little bit older. A lot older. Old. Is that I can't work through these little aches and pains and the little issues, or they will become big issues. Rosie's going to go rest. Love you all. Love you too, Rosie. Adam says, I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking. How are you doing, sir? Great to hear you working out. Keep up the good work. I haven't missed a day of working out since about 2004. The reason I know that is because that's when the last time I had the flu. Kat says, if anyone not subbed to Praveen, do so. You're missing out. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Our friend Praveen is one of a kind. It's a good friend. Dolly says, I want to decorate my front yard with tons of Christmas lights. Is today the day? I guess this is the day we kick off the Christmas season, right? Hey, Anna. You had your interview yesterday, right? How did that go? If you'd like to share. Praveen says, thanks, Auntie. Lady says, sorry you're dealing with arm pain. Yogi, prayers to you. Hope it will not bother you again. Thank you, Lady Sky. I appreciate that. Yeah, keep being a blessed time for you. Good to hear. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate that. How's it be? I was going to ask you musically. Are you playing? Lady Sky says, you're welcome. Cat says, I refuse to enter a store today unless I want some content. Yeah, I would not go to any store. Hey Dylan, love your channel, amazing work. Please stop making bad comments about Asians, blacks, handicapped people. I'll take that under consideration. Skits, my Friday challenge to you all: compliment a stranger. It's that easy. It is that easy. That's an awesome. It's an awesome challenge. It's an awesome practice. Adam says just chilling. Hey Adam, you still have an open invitation when we have the people coming up and play for us. Hey Enviromad. Dolly says, let a light shine. Yep. Anna says, it went well. Thank you for asking me, Yogi. You're welcome, Anna. Prayers for the right connection. Adam says, cool, thanks. You're welcome, my friend. All right, guys, we're going to get ready to head out and take a walk. Appreciate you hanging out with me. Any questions about anything we talked about, except for crepes and pancakes and elbow pain? Later, Adam. Thanks again for coming in. So, Skits had a good question earlier about what if others, and we can end it there. It doesn't matter the details that follow. What if others? Because we always want receptivity. I think that's an actual word. We want others to be receptive and then to change. If they're not changing, then what's the point in doing it? Right? Because it's not about others, it's about how we change from reactivity to responsiveness. Imagine how peaceful you would be if you did not react to every single thing that was laid upon your altar by someone else. Our job is to, this is the nature of Ho'oponopono. Remember the 4 phrases? I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. We're not saying we're sorry to someone else. We're not asking, please forgive me, from anyone else. What we're saying is, I allowed you in this realm of only consciousness itself, one consciousness, one voice, one self. I allowed the perception of another to step into my altar and lay a gift upon my ego's altar. And I reacted to it. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I did not realize that I was doing that. Thank you, because now that I know, I can extend love from the only true altar that exists. It's never about what other people do. It's about making myself so transparent, so humble, so gentle, that that's all I have to give towards others. And it's a practice. It's a practice. If you were good at it, you wouldn't be here. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about good or bad. Don't worry about mistakes. Mistakes are just opportunity. In NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, they say there's no such thing as mistake, because you always get a result. It's what you do with the result that matters. So you forget, you react, you think you've done something wrong, you think that you reacted wrongly, you think that you might have hurt someone. What do? You have a result. What do you want to do with that result? This is in Buddhist Tantra. Everything is used to channel upwards, to take the raw material of what life gives you and channel it up the chakra system, refine it. Inner alchemy. Teach only love, for that is what you are. As Skitz said, love them regardless. Perfectly said, beautifully said. Anna says, how are you this morning, Kat? And Kat said that she happy to be with family. Hey, Andrea, how are you? Lady Sky says she's doing all right. Which, of course, I start singing the Selma song in my head. Sissy says, like a spiral instead of a loop. No more looping. Nope, we're done looping. I've looped enough. I've been on every inner and internal roller coaster that 60 years can prevent to me. I've done all the loops. I've looped-de-looped. I looped-de-lied. I've driven myself loopy. No more loops, sissy. Andrea says she's okay. Well, I'm glad you're okay. Anna says, yes, Kat, so am I. What are we doing spoons about? Up the chakra. Dolly says, Anna, much love. Goldie's laughing. Sissy says, we can work in it together, one moment, one day at a time. Absolutely. And everyone is giving us an opportunity. Man, think how many great teachers that we have in any given live stream here. And they are teaching us, which altar am I worshiping upon? The ego or the Holy Spirit? The ego or the Buddha mind? Every single person that comes in is giving us that opportunity. And we generally squander it. Me too. We miss it. Or, even worse, we purposely refuse it. I'd rather hang on to my resentments. I'd rather be angry. I would rather be this. I'd rather be that. I'd rather hold on to my grievances. Not knowing that we are literally poisoning ourselves. Anger is toxic. Resentment, grievances, judgment, they're toxic. They hurt us. They don't hurt the other person. The other person is dealing with their own projections. We are the one who is hurt by our projections. We think that we're giving them away. We think we're trying to get rid of them. Have you ever given your anger away? Where does it reside? Where does it always reside? And do you ever feel better? Do you ever wake up the next day and say, man, I'm really glad I was angry with that person. I feel so much better now that I've lashed out. We can kid ourselves, but the damage has been done. It raises blood pressure, creates hypertension, all kinds of issues. Because we have to continue it. We can't let it go. We got to remind ourselves, oh yeah, I'm angry with you. We literally have to drag the past, which doesn't exist, within the present moment. As Jared Jambelski said, forgiveness is simply giving up all hope of a better past. You will never have a better past. How can you have a better past? It's not here. It's not present. If you want a better future, tend to the garden of the present moment. Andrea says, still hearing from my surgery? Prayers to you, my friend. Prayers, Andrea. Whoa, wait a minute. Goldie says, well, this day should enter the Hall of Fame. I'm at work eating pizza. How did that come about? How did you come about to eating pizza? Praveen, Kat says, Praveen, 80,000 around the corner. Lady Scott says she can't wait to sing again. 10 more days, so I'm back at home being in Texas. That's awesome, Praveen. For those who don't know, Goldie works with pizza. Thank you, Dolly. And if you work with pizza, the last thing you really want to eat is pizza. And yet somehow, Goldie is finding herself here with eating pizza. Oh, only eating pizza when I'm broke. As long as it doesn't have pineapple on it. Dolly says, if you want a better future, tend to the garden of the present moment. Absolutely. Thank you, Praveen. All right, guys, let me head out and take my walk. Get a few miles in before the sun comes up. It's when the sun comes up that the magic starts to happen as far as my camera is concerned. I saw my beaver friend yesterday and realized that I could not get any film. It was just too dark. My camera wasn't picking it up. And I started walking away a little disappointed. And I reminded myself, it's not the point. I love to capture things so I can share it with you guys. But if that's my sole focus, I'm missing the opportunity of just sitting there hanging out with my beaver friend. So I did. Hey, Sandy. Sandy, how are you? Skits is sending some love. Thank you, Skits. Keep smiling, my friend. So I guess I want you to know your presence always does bring a smile, and I continue it through the day. All right. Love you guys. I'll see you 1 o'clock. No one's, like I said, no guest. So we'll just be hanging out at 1. At 5:25, I do have a guest, Martin Patet. Meditation and, of course, miracles. He has a very, very unique meditation practice that he sort of developed through some traditional yogic practices. We're going to talk about that. He finds it very helpful for his practice of A Course in Miracles. He does the same thing I do. He wakes up very, very early in the morning to get that meditation in. Hey, Maddie. Maddie, how are you? I was thinking about you this morning, Maddie. I hope all is well with you, my friend. Skid says, much love, everyone. I'm sorry you're not doing well, Sandy. Prayers, my friend. Dog says, Skits, much love. Maddie's doing good. I'm glad to hear. Love to you, love to Chloe, love to Jordy, love to the kids. Hey, Maharashtra, my friend. Namaskar to you. No pineapple? I sent a picture. Awesome. Oh, let me read one more thing before I go, and then I will go for sure. This is from Dave Farr, who was up, I guess maybe 2 months now. It was one of my earliest guests when I started bringing him on. He wrote this yesterday morning. Forgiveness is not only the key to happiness, but the way to self-realization. Born into the resurrection as it is orbital principle, man can now begin to atone for his errors through forgiveness. To literally witness the correction of his perception in relationship to everyone and everything right before his eyes. This is a choice made consciously and upheld in every relationship and encounter that tempts him to believe he is subject to laws other than God's. As he practices accepting forgiveness for himself by extending it to others, he sees that there was actually never anything but the laws of God, and that he was merely happily wrong about everything. One more thing before we go. The infamous Goldie pizza. For those who was wondering, that's what Goldie was eating. If you would like to hear more from Goldie, join us Sunday, not Saturday, Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock. We are on the last part, the last phase. Well, the last phrase that brings us up to the present moment. The story of Goldie continues. The story of Goldie continues onwards. It's tomato sauce, mozzarella, cheddar, ham, sausage, salami. Sounds good, even to a vegan. All right, one last goodbye. Environment says full of pasta and it's raining on the steel roof. I love that sound. Jamie says hi to Maddie. Jamie said hi to everyone. Hope you're doing well. Cat said yummy. Okay, gonna go. Almost 6 o'clock. Love you guys. I'll see you, hopefully I'll see you at 1, or some of you at 1 o'clock. Take care, guys.